What is the Red Flag Rulebook?
The Red Flag Rulebook is a book that we wrote together when we were both single, and we had just gone through a bunch of bad dates, gotten out of a bad relationship, so we decided to write 3 rules for ourselves that we had to follow and 50 red flags, so personality traits that we don't particularly want to see in guys that we're dating.
And also there's green flags in the book, which is how to tell if the guy likes you. And also some definite deal breakers where you don't give a guy a second chance after that. If he breaks those rules, out of there.
What should women be aware of when choosing a fellow?
Well, they need to always keep their eyes open for red flags, and this is something that sometimes we don't do because we want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And you're not just talking like red flags like, you know, rope and duct tape in the back seat. You're talking about like sort of personality traits that could be a real concern.
A lot of women date guys that they don't think are good guys. They keep in that relationship for a while, and then when they get out of it, they're jaded and they have those opinions. And so the idea is to not even get into those relationships.
Right.
Once you start seeing this stuff, get out of there before it gets serious.
The red flags we discussed were flags that we looked for when we started dating someone. So a lot of women tend to overlook them, so we did the same, and we decided to write them down and really stick to them.
Guys, when they read it, because some guys have read it and gave us feedback, they usually don't have more than 4 a lot of the time. And those are the guys that seem to be ready for a relationship. But then some guys read it and they'll say something like, well, I have like 7. But
they get personally offended.
They get personally offended,
really?
but they're also casually dating. They're in that stage.
We want this book to be there for the girls who want to find that one and only.
Yeah.
Not somebody who's casually dating. Because if you're just casually dating someone, who cares if they have flags anyway, right? You're not taking it seriously, he's not taking it seriously, then that doesn't matter. This book is to find that one and only, hopefully, whether you want to get married or whether you don't, but to have that partner there for life.
There has to be a certain level of trust in every relationship, and that is actually one of the deal breakers that we have is no trust. That's the basis of all relationships. If you don't have that, then really the relationship's doomed to fail.
So with the dating, it would really be more things that come out without you even probing.
So after you spot these red flags, what advice do you give to deal with them?
Well, it depends. You get 4. So our advice is, in our book, you have your section in the back where you can write down the red flags that you encounter, and you can count them. So you make a little tally for the guys you're seeing, and you count each red flag. And then when you get to 5, you just lose his number.
So you say 4 red flags means bye-bye, send the guy on his way. It doesn't seem like a lot.
No.
I mean, in the first 3 dates, you'll probably come up with 6 or 7 red flags.
Oh, I hope not. 4 red flags, you could keep them at 4. At 5, that's when you need to consider losing his number.
So give us an example of what you think is one of the most important red flags.
I wouldn't say there's an important one over another. I'd say that there's some that we experience, definitely. Let's see, the pity party.
What's the pity party? Talk to us about the pity party.
That would be when somebody is always down. Everything that happens to them makes them down. If they get a wrong order at a fast food restaurant, that will make them so sad. You know, life's against them. That's the pity party.
And you were saying?
The bragger. I find that a lot of guys that I've gone on dates with brag about their accomplishments, who they know, what kind of car they drive, things like that. So
but usually it's because they're trying to impress you, but you're saying it's perhaps too much of them being egotistical?
When they say something like, I could buy this building, it's kind of a turn off at that point.